BC 65925 here with a little instructional video today. I need to make a new windshield cover for the Dodge. I thought I'd bring you along to show you these. I've never seen one of these to be bought anywhere. I've always just made them myself. And here's what you're going to need. You're going to need a pair of scissors, which I have right here. That's about it for tools. Pair of scissors, well, a drill. You need a drill. I'll get one of them out here in a minute. A couple of pieces of lattice. Now, I didn't have any lattice laying around, but I did have a piece of 3/4 inch oak from a project. I ripped it in half, made 2 pieces of lattice out of that. You need 2 of these bungee cords. I happened to go by Tractor Supply yesterday and buy a pack of 2 because I couldn't remember to get some while I was at Harbor Freight, because the Harbor Freight ones work just as good. These are 12 inches, which is okay, but you want these kind with you want these kind with that little ball on. It's what you want. And one of these cheap plastic tarps. I've already made one cover out of this one, and the tarp's plenty big enough to make 2, maybe 3 out of it. I can't remember how big these tarps were. I think they were 9x7s. Got them at Harbor Freight for free just for showing up. They had a coupon, so it wasn't, but they aren't expensive anyway. So that's the start of it. Now, we need to measure the windshield, which is kind of hard to do with one person, but I'm going to measure to the end of that windshield wiper, right there. Get it on there. Get it approximate, it doesn't have to be exact. That's right at 4 foot from the edge. And from there to from there, it's 2 foot, so it's about 6 foot. I happen to know that the top up here is 5 foot, and usually that's a good size for a truck. You can pretty much make this same size for every truck and you'll be okay. So it's 6 foot by 5 foot at the top. And you want to know this distance, which on my truck here, that's about 30 inches. Measure somewhere in here in the middle, if we can get a close estimate. Yeah, it's like, if I come out on the hood here, it's 3 foot. So I'm going to make it 3 foot. Always before, I've just made these, they come down about right in here somewhere. I thought I'd make this one and add a little flap to it to come out on the hood so that snow would not pile up in here. Now, obviously I don't really need these here because I park my vehicles inside, but if I take my vehicle to work and they're expecting snow, that's when it's the worst, for snow anyway, because you get there and your windshield's all warm, and then the snow falls on it and it freezes, and then the snow falls on top of it and you got snow and ice. So this will definitely help with that. Okay, now these lattice pieces need to be about the size of the glass on the side, which was 30 inches on my truck. Right at 30 inches. These don't have to be exact. So let's get started here. Okay, I've made my first mark. I come over here and I want about a 2-inch seam on each side. So I added 4 inches to my measurements. So I want the bottom to be 6'4" total. Then I come over here and I made the same mark at 6'4", and come back up here 6 inches because that's how much less the top is. And I used this straight edge and made a mark. Cut along the bottom at the 40-inch mark, which will give us 36 plus the 2-inch seam, and then we'll cut along the other side at that same angle. And I'm cutting off this seam here that has these grommets in it. Number one, you don't want those metal grommets left in there, and number two, there's not going to be enough. You don't have to worry about having a seam the way we're doing this. So I'll get to cutting and I'll bring you back in a little bit. What I've done is I've cut my piece. I took my piece of wood here, my 1x2, my lattice, whatever you want to call it, and I made a seam. I folded this over top of it like that, and I taped it down with my duct tape. Now, you don't have to use duct tape on this. I made one with masking tape 1 year, and it lasted a couple, 3 years. And for sure, if your tape doesn't outlast your plastic tarp, you can put new tape on it. Just clean it off in the spring and put new tape on it. Or you'll remember when you go to put it out in the winter and do it then. Now, I've had these boards go bad on me. It's a simple matter of peeling a couple pieces of tape, putting a new board in there, and you're done. Okay, so I put my seam on each side with the piece of wood in there, and I just folded the seam on the top and taped it down. Now, because my battery's running low, all I'm going to do here is fold these up like this and tape them there and tape them here. And that's the bottom. So I'll do that, and I'll see if I got enough battery to come back and show you application. I've got it all taped up here. So I've got my pieces of wood inside this seam on both sides, right? The top seam, there's nothing in it. It's just a folded over seam. And the bottom, where these boards are, just fold up the corner and tape up that corner, and that keeps the piece of wood inside there. Plus, if you have to replace that, all you have to do is just untape this corner, pull that piece out, put another one in. And then the bottom, just leave it alone. It'll flap down and cover your windshield wipers, hopefully. And the same thing on the other side. So, we should have a piece here that's 5 foot at the top, 6 foot at the bottom, and about 3 foot from up there. This might be a little bit over, but that's not a big deal. Now we need to know where to drill the holes. On my truck, from the top of the windshield to the top of the mirror is about 20 inches. Now, so that's where I'm going to put my hole at. Now, this hole has to be big enough to get your bungee through, folded like that. So I'm going to come down 20 inches from the top, make a hole, make a mark right here. Since the last thing I was drilling was a half-inch hole with a Forstner bit, that's what I'm going to use. And seeing as how I'm using oak boards, that's good, but more than likely you'll be using pine. And if you use pine, the smaller the hole, the better. Now for the bungee cords. You want it so that the ball is on the opposite side of your tape. Take that, put it right through like that. And the other one, put it through like that. And that's how we fasten it on. So let's go do that part. Now, the easy way to fasten this on, especially if you're by yourself, is to take the bungee cord and just flip it over top of that mirror. Then come to this side of the truck. Take that, wrap it around, hook it on there. It's just about aren't long enough to wrap around these big mirrors. And I'm not going to be able to on these big mirrors. That's okay, because it worked just fine. Like that. That's how I put them on there forever. Now that one needs to be a little bit tighter, so what I'll do is I'll wrap this one side. Get you up a little closer here so you can see what I mean by wrapping it. Okay. So you take that over the top, bring it around underneath, and hook it right over top of that ball, just like that. And there you go. That's one snow-covered windshield. I got it a little bit off to this side because that side over there is not long enough. Probably be better with this truck if it had, if I had some longer bungees, and I'll get some. For regular mirrors though, those are just fine. These big base mirrors that are on this truck, they're just too small. But if you can wrap both of them around like I did that side over there, it pulls it even on the windshield. Of course, this little bit of the windshield here doesn't matter that much anyway, because that much of that you can't see out of. So there's like 2 inches of mirror at the very bottom that's not going to be covered. I kind of like that flap. That flap's covering them windshield wipers, so they won't get frozen down. That's a new advancement to this new design. So there you go. Now I don't know how much that cost, but especially if you buy your bungees at Harbor Freight like I should have. If it cost $5, it'd surprise the heck out of me. And it really cuts down on the amount of scraping you have to do. You just come out in the morning and unhook that and peel it, shake the ice off, roll it up. Let me do that. Just take that off, fold it in half, shake the stuff off of it, roll it up. Throw that in the back floor, out of the way. And something else that can be used for is if you're halfway slicked up, you got a flat tire or something like that, you need to get down on the snow, just throw this piece down on the ground, even, no matter what time of year it is. Keep from getting all dirty. Let's put that in the truck right now. So, hope you enjoyed that. I know I did. I get a lot of use out of those covers. So y'all take care. I'm going back inside